2016 is shaping up to be an exciting new year for the telecoms industry. And GRAPPA is just excited about this as you are. We're very excited to be announcing a brand new program to help managers address all of the different needs that they have for the coming year.
The program is called the Manager's Edge, and the Manager's Edge program is designed to help telecoms fraud managers to make sure that their teams and that they themselves are getting the latest updates in training and best practices in the continuous battle to combat telecoms fraud.
We're going to give you a short presentation here. What we're going to do is we're going to cover the new program itself, talk about it in general. We're going to look at the different online certification options. We'll have 3 different certification programs that you can start with. We'll take a look at some samples of the classes so you can see what it's like inside the classroom. And then we'll look at the certification for novice and intermediates, the managers, and the master's programs. We'll finish up with a quick little how to get started and talk about our pricing options. So to the left of this presentation, you'll see a menu, and if you are impatient and you want to skip ahead to a specific section, you can just go ahead and click on the menu there, skip ahead, see what you want to know, and then come back. Online program for 2016. Since 2010, GRAPPA has been training people online. We have over 500 people certified through our online program, mostly in Latin America. We've been very good with the live WebEx/Adobe Connect style training, but people have had some real challenges. The internet training is not as easy as it might first seem. Managers have told us that, first of all, it's hard to get the time set aside, that people are busier than ever. Getting everybody in the same room at the same time is almost impossible. Second of all, people are saying that they have cost pressures, that their training budgets are being cut, they have more training needs and less money available to do it. And everybody needs different training. It's not like we can get one training program and everybody can take the same class. Diversified as our telecoms have taken on this dizzying new array of products and technologies. We have addressed this challenge. Our member feedback is clear. The training has to be on demand. Students need to be able to fit in some training whenever they have some spare time in their schedule. They need to be able to take training from home in the evenings. Maybe they have 2 or 3 days where they're off and they can jump in and get 2 or 3 days of training in. So it has to be an on-demand kind of training experience. Second of all, it has to be customized for each student. Students can't be forced to go through materials that aren't of interest and don't apply to them. Third of all, it has to be easy to administer for the manager. The problems with procurement, with getting approvals and budgets, the problems with the learning department create an administrative nightmare for the manager, who all he wants is to get his people trained. We also have to be sure that we're teaching the latest best practices, the freshest information from the field, and the training has to be practical and apply to the real world.
We began the Telco Fraud Academy in 2008, and since its creation, we have trained and certified over 500 telecoms fraud specialists through our venue, on-site, and online approaches. For the online program, we will be offering 3 certification plans. First, the core Telecoms Fraud Professional. Secondly, Certified Fraud Manager. And third, the new Advanced Data and Cyber Fraud Professional program.
The training program is going to be online on demand. We will be publishing a catalog of over 120 hours of online training to be available. This training is equivalent to the training we've been doing in the live classrooms, on-site, and venue. It's going to be better than that in many ways, because with the move to on-demand, we can be more in-depth. We can take the time to really explain things. We're not under the time pressure that we're under in a live situation, and the student doesn't have to be held back by the other people in the room, or he doesn't have to be rushed by the other people in the room. So people can take it at their own pace. We know it's better because there's more feedback. There's more chance for the students to give us feedback, and I'm going to talk about how we do that. And For the master's and the manager's programs, the students actually do homework assignments, fill out spreadsheets, do research, turn in their work. I, the teacher, review it, and we can have discussions about how well you're doing mastering the material that we're talking about. It's a customized program for each student. You as the manager are in charge of all the different aspects, the when, how, where, what, and why. And we, GRAPPA, manage and track the students' progress, and at a better cost. Number one priority is easy access for everyone, online, on demand, interactive with heavy student involvement. We are giving a weekly teacher consultation, so I will have hours posted every week at a time convenient for your team, and I'll be available for people to drop in and ask questions. It's also designed to be all-inclusive. There's no more of taking a look and saying, well, this guy, he's intermediate, he needs this training, and this guy, he needs novice training, this guy, he's very advanced. The program will fit all the different people because different people can take different things out of the curriculum that they need. So the approach is simple. We have an online catalog of classes. It's parallel to our current on-site and venue certification programs. It's been organized into 10-hour classes, and each team member signs up and takes the training that they need when they need it. Students can sign up to take a 10-hour course in 1 week, in 1 month, in 6 months, or in 1 year. That's up to them. And each class covers a different aspect. Now, the training is organized into 20-minute lessons, which are lectures with slides where I talk about the different aspects of the job, bring in case studies and examples from the real world. And each 20-minute lesson is followed by a 5 to 10-minute learning interaction, which are chances for the student to concentrate on specific questions, think, and give answers that they think apply to the area covered. We then have those lessons and interactions organized into chapters of 2 hours each. Each chapter has a quiz and then a final exam. So it's a very dynamic, interactive environment. The lecture, as I said, is 20 minutes. The material is interesting, well organized. There are diagrams and compelling presentations. And here's a little short 2-minute demonstration so you can see a couple of clips from what it's like inside of the classrooms.
Telecommunications company, we want to look at the way the telco fraud organization is injected into that. So the key reporting department for a telco fraud management department will either be finance or security, as we saw in those statistics, usually finance. Now, telecom fraud management is very eclectic. That means every telco is going to organize it differently. So when you've done fraud management here, when you move to another company, it may be done very differently. So we have to be very careful. So everyone does it differently. Everybody has different responsibilities. There is a clear focus on a couple of things, though. Pretty much everybody is what we call fraud management system centric. That is, the fraud management system is at the heart of the fraud management activity. Finally, we move into the IT side and mediation. So mediation is the core system utilized to handle the processing, formatting, filtering, and distribution of call detail records from the network to the different business functions. So the mediation, so when the call ends, it will be marked as done and written out. And then when that partial CDR comes here to mediation, it will be taken and the mediation system will see, this is only the back end of the call. It will go to the suspension file and try to find the matching other part of the CDR and put them together and turn them into one CDR. Now, the process of taking multiple partial sheet CDRs and putting enforcement control, and the actual billing is still being done with a postpaid system. In the bill once balance based, everything's done by the prepaid billing system, and then the invoicing is done as an after effect. CDRs.
And when the CDRs are produced, I mediate them and I bill them, and then I rate again.
In addition to the lectures, we have the knowledge checks, and I think this is the most important, most compelling part. If a student doesn't have to stop and think, and if people aren't forced to process the different topics, it goes too fast and they miss the whole point. So every 20 minutes we stop and do a knowledge check. It's a double check that you're following the material. We get the student proactively involved with the material, and we have what are called learning interactions to reinforce it. So here's a little demo of a couple of the what we call knowledge checks. You can see how I prompt people with the questions, and they have to input the answers on the screen. Those things are captured by us. I can look at the answers and then get back to people if they have any problems with the material. So here's a little knowledge check clip that you can watch.
Okay, let's see how well you remember our discussion about the different architectures. So architectures describe the basic components and the basic approach. So what are the three architectures that we use to deliver service to customers? Try to remember what the names of the three different architectures are, and tell us which architecture is the one that we use to support voice. Okay, very good. So the three service delivery architectures are circuit, where we open a dedicated circuit from one point to another, and this is how we usually do telephone services. We have packet, which is like a mail service. We send packages from one point to another, and broadcast, which is how we do broadcast radio, broadcast television. And of course, the circuit is the oldest telecommunications method. That's the way that we deliver voice services to people around the world. So very good. Let's do another check on another area.
It's more like a mail service than a circuit. And finally, broadcast, the oldest form of telecommunications. Broadcast radio, broadcast television, and of course now we have broadcast.
Time for the knowledge check for the interconnect line of business. For your interconnect overview. First exercise, match the name with the description for these top telecom interconnect frauds. So match the name with the description of the fraud. Okay. Settlement control protects us from partner overbilling. Partner selection control helps us keep from a collusion situation. Trunk group controls keep us from fraudulent routing and overbilling. And rating controls keep us from fraudulent rating by the partner or by an internal party.
Of course, that was sped up quite a bit so that you could just get the point. Okay, there are also quizzes after every chapter. Now, the quizzes, students can take them as many times as they want. They get to see which answers are wrong and right, and quizzes are there to help people to reinforce their understanding of the material. At the end of the class, we have a test. The test has most of the same questions that were in the quiz, but they don't get to take the questions over again, and they don't get to get an immediate answer of right or wrong. So the test is where we really make sure that the student has captured the material. Finishing the material, watching all of the slides, all of the presentations and quizzes and interactions, and passing the test is how you get certified. Again, that was sped up. Now, we have interspersed what we call e-videos, educational videos, in with the material. So e-videos are key videos from YouTube, from commercial sources. They help provide the student with a better grasp of the material. They give a 360-degree view of the problem that we're discussing. So it gives the students better context and gives them some points of reference. So here's an example, a couple of slices from a couple of the e-videos from some of the classes.
Hey, I'm Lex Friedman with TechHive. We're here in Bedminster, New Jersey at AT&T's GNOC, its Global Network Operations Center. This is where they monitor all the traffic on their network, voice, data, cellular, everything. We're gonna go inside and see exactly how they do it. Hey Chuck, thanks for having me.
Welcome aboard, Lex. Good to have you here.
So what is the GNOC for? What do you do here?
We monitor and surveil all of AT&T's global networks.
Hi. What you see behind me is a base station, of which we have over 3,000, and we're upgrading at least 1,500 of those this year. Let me show you what comprises a typical base station. So, most importantly, we have a cabin.
Well, that's a nice little sample for you to see of what it's like in the classroom. We worked really hard to make this a pleasant, moving experience so that people can get to what they want to know. You can skip the sections that you're already familiar with. So, continuation of our self-pacing, on-demand training put into the environment.
The GREPA Manager's Edge program for fraud provides the manager with 3 different options to put his students. The first program is the Core Certification Program. This is for new hires, novices, and people with less than 5 years experience. There's a separate program just for managers and for the advanced students and advanced cyber and data frauds offering. The Fraud Management Core Certification, our Certified Telecoms Fraud Professional, is the certification received by over 500 telecoms fraud professionals around the world. This certification provides students with the fundamentals of the GREPA standards-based approach to fighting fraud and pulls from the ACFE, the IIA, and COBIT and ISACA, among others, as standards bodies from which we draw the knowledge that has been put into the curriculum. As I said, over 500 students from the Middle East, Southeast Asia, North America, South America, Europe, and Africa have all certified through this program. The online version of the core certification puts the student through 3 prerequisite courses, the Octef 1, 3, and 4, and then allows the student to choose 3 from among 7 electives. Octef 1 is the foundation program. Everyone taking any GREPA certification has to take this course. This provides the student with the vocabulary, the fundamentals, the methodologies, the core concepts involved in putting together a fraud management practice that is scientifically based and based upon clear rules of engagement, clear rules of jurisdictional analysis, and the GREPA method of deception and method of conversion exploit chain analysis. By learning the GREPA standardized approach to attacking frauds, fraud managers find that their teams are more proactive, more responsive, and better able to tackle the many challenges that make up the telecoms fraud management job. The Octef 3 class provides the student a deep dive into the world of the hacking and protection of voice networks. Learning how SS7 is hacked, learning about cloning of SIMs, learning about how fraudsters actually deceive our networks is key to being a good telecoms fraud manager, and this course provides you with a very good deep dive into all of those areas. Of course, in today's world, voice is on the decline and data is on the increase, and the hacking and protection of data networks is an area that has yet to be explored by most fraud management teams. There's a gray area right now between the IT guys, the network guys, and the fraud guys as to who's really responsible for protecting the network from all the different kinds of hacking and attack that fraudsters are using. So it's very important for the telecoms fraud management professional to be aware of all of the mechanisms for how that works and what they can do about it. After the student has taken the 3 prerequisites, they are allowed to choose 3 out of the 7 following electives: the Introduction to Fraud Management Systems and Data Analytics, 2 courses, 10 hours each, on interconnect frauds, 1 on the incursion frauds, PBX, hacking, call cell, premium rate, and stuffing, and 1 on the bypass frauds, SymBox, SS7 spoofing, refiling. Both of these courses cover the different ways that fraudsters make these frauds work and the many different controls that can be employed to prevent and contain those frauds. We have a separate class just on roaming frauds and courses on credit card and mobile money frauds, customer and channel frauds, and corporate sales, and the protection against supplier frauds. Our advanced programs, our master's programs, are for managers and for the advanced fraud professional. We assume that the novice beginners will be taking training at 5 to 10 hours a month, and we assume that managers and more advanced people can only spare 2 to 4 hours a month. So for that reason, the training, the certification is stretched out over a longer period of time. We assume 2 to 4 hours per month of lecture and video for the students, and 4 to 8 hours per month of assignments and review of deliverables with the instructor. The Fraud Manager's Core Curriculum provides the telecoms fraud management professional with a clear opportunity to learn how to manage his team more effectively. The manager takes the Introduction to Fraud Management class, Octef 1, and can then dive immediately into the many different manager courses: risk compliance and fraud management principles, entrepreneurship for managers, creating charters and KPIs, managing a budget, managing your team. All very critical things for a manager to know about, and things that most fraud managers are left without much support. The advanced certification, the master's level, is what we call the Certified Data and Cyber Fraud Professional Certification. This provides the advanced fraud professional with information about hacking, the dark net, denial of service, attacks, and all of the many different ways that hackers and cyber criminals are taking advantage of telecoms networks today. As you will learn in our Octef 1 class, telecoms fraud is on an increase, and it's increasing greater than our revenues are increasing, which means the fraudsters are winning, and the need for people that understand cyber fraud protection in the telecom is very great. So a typical starter package for a telecoms fraud manager would be to take his whole team and put them through Octef 1, 2, and 3 in order to get their basics down, the manager jumping right into the Fraud Manager's Masterclass, and for his more advanced people to put them off into the Introduction to Data Fraud and Hacking. What Grappa is trying to do here is more than just provide training. We're trying to help you to get your team organized and to turn it into a vigorous learning organization. Telecoms fraudsters work hard to find ways to get around our controls, to deceive us and beat us at our own game. And fraud management professionals that fall asleep at the wheel and don't continuously challenge each other and themselves to learn new ways to attack these frauds are going to lose the battle. And frankly, we are losing the battle right now. The fraudsters are winning. Industrial psychologists have done a lot of studies, and they have determined that 70% of the learning that a person needs to do to be effective in their job will happen hands-on on the job. and only 20% will happen through formal learning, and only 10% will be boosted by a formal learning arrangement. What Grappa has done is created a learning program that will provide you a rocket booster of that 10%. We know that your needs for training in different areas changes from one month to the next. Heck, it can change from one day to the next. And you don't have time to go try to figure out where to get the training every time one of these new areas pops up. This training is organized so that you can change your mind every week if you want to and get your people into the training that they need when they need it.
How does it work? The pricing works like this. You sign up your team. There is one price for the entire team for the entire year. So it's an enterprise-based pricing plan based on the size of your company, the number of subscribers that you have. So based on the size of your company, there's one price, and that covers you, the managers, it covers your experts, it covers your novices and newcomers, and you as the manager are in complete control of registering and deregistering people from our online portal environment. You, as the manager, are encouraged to design a custom curriculum. You can let students pick from a menu if you want. You can decide that everybody should go through certain classes, or you can ask us for some help in putting together a recommended program. But what's important is you set the timing, the pace, and the curriculum for each student. And you can change it at any time without any commercial consequence. What we do is we put the students, we register them in the programs, and then we track their progress. So every team is assigned a membership manager on our end. That membership manager tracks the progress of each team member each week. We have an online portal where we report their progress, and you will get either a weekly or a monthly report on the individual student progress. You'll see their test scores and any issues or concerns that they might bring up. Each week I will have posted office hours where people can drop in and ask any questions to clear up any bottlenecks they have with problem areas. They can come and do an online video conference with me either through Skype or through our Adobe Connect environment, or we can do a live chat, or we can do a phone call, whatever's going to work for them. So I will have the posted hours. They can coordinate the time through their membership manager.
If we've managed to get you interested in finding out more about the Grappa Manager's Edge online training program, then we make it as easy as we possibly can for you to get more information. If you've already talked to a membership manager, then you will have been given a login and a password. This will allow you to log straight into your portal to follow up and begin registration and initiation of the training. If you haven't talked to your membership manager yet, you can log in with the login manager info and the password, PASSWRD. Either way, when you click on the link at the end of this video, you will be taken to the Grappa login page, which looks like this. Put in the login and the password that we just talked about, and that will take you to the manager portal page. You will be invited to click on the Register Your Company link in the control table. Click on that link and follow the instructions, and we'll collect the information about you and what you're trying to do. If you are coming in for the first time and are interested in the free demo class, just put free demo class in your registration information. After you've registered, you can go back to the Manager Portal page and click on the free sample class. And if you're happy and you want to go ahead and get your people involved, you can register them on the registration table that's below the Manager Control table. Just put in their information, their email address, their phone number, and the class you want to put them in, and when you expect them to take it, how long you expect them to spend. You put the information in there. We'll pull up the information from your registration. We'll take the student information, and we'll send the registration logins to your students, and they can then log in and begin taking the class.
We have a student tracking sheet where each of the students, their deadline for how long they're supposed to take to do the course, and a link so they can click to get in, and then we track their progress. So it's actually pretty interesting when we put this up so students can see how the other students are doing, and people get kind of competitive for who's going to get done with the course first. So when students finish a particular class, they're awarded a certificate of completion, and when they complete the entire curriculum, then they're awarded the full certification and the full certificate from GRAPPA. So if this sounds interesting to you, here on this page there's a link, and this link will take you to our portal site. And if you have already gotten your login from your membership manager, you can use that to get in and get started with the process. So I hope this sounds interesting to you, and I hope that you talk to your membership manager and get in here and take a look at the sample classes and see how this is going to work for you. So thanks a lot. Hope we see you in the classroom. This is Rob Madison signing off for now.